This video discusses CineStill 800T film and looks at how to use it, the film's characteristics, technical details, and sample images. 800T is a fast film rated at 800 ISO when tungsten balanced, 500 ISO in daylight. That said, most, if not all, the shots in this video were taken in full sun or other non-tungsten lighting, even though this film is really designed to be used in tungsten light or warm light. 800T is available in 35mm and 120. Now, I won't lie, I would be interested in shooting this in sheet format, but maybe only once. CineStill 800T takes Kodak Vision 3 emulsion 5219 and runs it through some chemical magic. That magic removes the remjet backing and also changes the chemical sensitization of the film to balance it for C41 processing. Kodak Vision stock uses ECN2 processing, and the films for that will absolutely ruin C41 machines. The CineStill genius was to take the exceptionally high-quality Vision stocks and make them accessible to still photographers using a C41 process. The downside is that the process of prepping this for C41 removes the anti-halation layer on the back of the film, which causes halation around light sources. We'll talk about what that is and how that works in this video, but for right now, just know that that is a major part of the CineStill look. This section looks at my perception of the film's characteristics. I'll discuss how I see the film's grain, tonal range, acutance, contrast, sharpness, and gamma, and then I'll provide some added notes, suggested good uses, and thoughts on how to best digitize this film. For grain, with proper exposure, there's grain, but by 800 ISO film standards, there's not that much grain, especially on 120. And that owes largely to the fact that Kodak's motion picture films are, and I cannot say this enough, amazing. On 35mm, especially if the image on 800T is underexposed, grain is noticeable. It provides a pleasing image aesthetic, however. For tonality and tonal range, with proper exposure, tonal range is decent. Now, were I to rank color films by tonal range, high-end color negative films are the best, slide films are second, and consumer-grade negatives I would rank third. I would place 800T between slide film and high-end color negative film, with the asterisk that shadows can have a greater apparent grain and often don't have as much depth as do shadows in slide film. For acutance, it's decent for color negative films, and personal bias here, I am so incredibly used to looking at black and white film that to me, all color film looks a bit mushy. Bias aside, this stock does empirically have average sharpness between tonal transitions. We'll get to, throughout this video, why that's a good thing for this film as well. For contrast, I like the contrast in CineStill 800T because it is a flatter film. As I've said often in this series, you can always add contrast in post, but almost never remove it. I will also add that when a medium format negative from 800T is exposed well, the contrast levels in it really complement subjects well. For sharpness, 800T is a bit soft, but it's a fast film and also a motion film, so it's understandable and completely forgivable and completely usable in the right settings. Motion films were designed to record and project at 23 frames or so per second, so no one frame conveyed the entire image, and the motion of the frames combined to form a grain profile that dances on screen and combines to create motion sharper in some than that of the individual frames. So motion stocks tend to be a bit soft. Bonus, though, that softness makes this film particularly great for portraits. For your dynamic range, it's spectacular. This film can hold both shadows and highlights in full sun when exposed well. When it drops shadows, they do look like noise and darkness and generally just flat. And highlights look like someone mixed this film emulsion wrong when they blow out. That said, rein in your scenes a bit and this film really excels. As an added bonus, in even lighting, 800T delivers good contrast. This stands to reason as the film's origin is motion pictures, and lighting for movies is very well planned and controlled. As an additional note, CineStill indicates that the current 800T design can allow the film to be pushed to 3200 ISO. I tried this at 1600 ISO and had a lot of noise and also some detail loss in the blue spectrum. Now granted, that was 2018 and the film may have had less pushability then than it does now, so I would recommend doing a test roll or two of this film at pushed ISOs to see if you like it. I will give CineStill that when I pushed 800T, it retained great dynamic range, generally good, very good color, and contrast. Another note, early 800T stocks had problems. Remnant backing, issues with colors, and occasional black dots in the emulsions. Now, I did have some of those rolls, and some of those shots, I believe, made it into this video. Those rolls were all taken in 2016 and 2017. 800T today is a much different, better, and more mature product, and the team has made significant and tangible improvements in the film, and the 800T today is really a very good and reliable product. For good uses, portraits are first and foremost. Also, pieces that convey a good ambiance, especially in low light images, will be a good use of this film. Want to shoot portraits by candlelight? This would be a good option for that. I don't recommend 800T as a landscape film for reasons that ought to be self-explanatory from the many landscapes in this video. In a nutshell, however, many better landscape films with better and richer colors exist. This is a film that really works best when people are in your frame. Usually, this is where we start discussing graphs. CineStill's website links the Kodak technical datasheet for 5219, the donor emulsion. However, I've shot 5219 and it behaves differently than 800T. I suspect that the dye correction process that allows 800T to be processed as a C41 stock with proper colors somehow affects and alters the manner in which the film records colors. Now, when I shot 5219 in the past and had it developed as C41, everything came out super blue. So, of course, because it's a tungsten balanced film. Anyway, 5219 to my eyes, the images from it, when exposed properly with the correct color balance, look richer and deeper, especially in the darks, than does 800T. So no charts in this video at all because I'm not sold that they completely reflect how this film works. Halation is an effect generally unique to CineStill films, and this is because of the way they're made. So here's a cheesy example. Let's say you're photographing a bright light at night with Vision 3, 5219, or any other Vision 3 film on the left. The remjet carbon back layer absorbs all of the light that passes through the emulsion in base. Well, okay, not all of it, but any that passes through the remjet will be scattered by the film's pressure plate and will then be diffuse enough not to pass through the remjet again. The stuff, remjet that is awesome. And when I've shot Vision 3 for black and white cross-processing, the contrast on the stuff is incredible. And yes, I will do an entire video about Vision 3 black and white cross-processing in the future. But anyway, CineStill has to remove the remjet in order for this film to be used in C41 machines. That's because remjet is carbon black in a water-soluble binder and is put onto the back of the film for vision use because motion stock really requires exceptional stray light capture. That polymer that holds the carbon black particles, because it's water soluble, it comes off in process. Those tiny pieces of carbon black, if they get into the chemistry of the C41 machine, will get embedded into the emulsion of other films and can also muck up some of the works within the machine itself. So that's why it has to come off. Now, when it's removed, there's no replacement anti-halation layer added to this film. This results in light that passes through the emulsion, reflecting off the back of the film base layer and causing a source point glow around light sources. That glow is red because red is the color that survives the emulsion layers. Anti-halation layers don't only prevent halation, however. They also prevent static buildup and discharge in the film. They reduce film fogging due to static and other environmental factors. They provide lubrication for the film as it winds against itself, and they provide scratch protection for film emulsions. A key point to this, if you live in a dry area, anti-halation layers are very important to your ability to reduce static and fogging on film. And yes, some of the shots in this video do show static discharge damage. That said, I haven't experienced static issues with 800T since late 2018. Kodak's 5219 technical datasheet indicates that no reciprocity correction is needed from 1/1000th of a second to 1 second. They don't provide any guidance beyond that. Some color films can experience color shifting when they have long exposures. I tested CineStill 800T with long exposures of more than a second, both right at that mark with pinhole cameras, and with at least a couple of overnight astrophotography shots. I did not find that 800T color shifted with shots of up to around 30 minutes. I also didn't find that it lost speed on those longer shots. So the best guidance I have for you on reciprocity failure is to just double the exposure time if you're metering beyond 5 or 10 seconds. I read somewhere that CineStill looks great at 640 ISO. I do think it works well as an 800 ISO film, however. Also, I do think that pushing it a stop or two and having it developed for longer by your lab can also yield excellent results. Kodak's Essential Reference Guide for Filmmakers, a free PDF you can download from the references in this video's description, and which, by the way, is an absolutely invaluable resource, lists 5219 as being good to use for exterior daylight use and also daylight interior use with window light. It is also best to use in a well-lit studio or with limited light. I think that CineStill 800T also embodies that recommendation. 800T is a good all-around film if you have a high-end camera with a fast shutter speed. This film will let you make use of it in full sun, and then go into a standard living room and still get great photos on the same roll of film, and if you have some shots left over at night, you can make it work there too. So my recommendations for 800T are to shoot it at 800 ISO or faster, and to back it up with a camera that has at least a 1/4000th minimum shutter speed for your 35mm film. In medium format, plan to shoot it at night or in low light. One last note. Don't let your 800T sit around waiting to be developed. CineStill recommends developing it shortly after shooting. I assume that the latent image degrades if it sits around, much as is the case with Ilford's Pan F50 Plus. I did let half a roll, however, sit in a camera for 18 months because I forgot it was in there. I did that one time, and I did not notice any image quality degradation between the first half of that roll and the second half of that roll. However, stick with CineStill's advice and develop quickly. I like the idea behind CineStill. I like the brothers Wright. They seem very nice and have always answered my emails. I also really like the innovation it brings to the film marketplace and the thinking behind this stock. I also like the film. It's not my favorite. It's not top 10. CineStill 800T definitely fills a much-needed gap in the film marketplace for fast, readily pushable film stocks. It's reliable, it's usable in all kinds of situations, and it has a unique and identifiable characteristic that is, I think, a huge part of the brand. Another key thing about CineStill 800T, the color cast and tone are unique within the film marketplace. They differ to my eye from 5219, and they have a distinct look and aesthetic. You need to buy into that look if you use this stock. And if you buy into it, if you use this stock to complement that look, then the results can be decidedly eye-catching. I don't like the halation at all. And though sometimes I do think it works in images, mostly those I've seen online taken by other people, I find it to be distracting in my own work with CineStill 800T. That stems mostly from the fact that my own work does not lend itself well to the aesthetic in which 800T thrives. But the halation, It's part of the film and it can't be worked around. So my advice to you, from someone who never did this well to someone who I hope does do this well: embrace the halation and learn to incorporate it into your images as an element that sets or creates the image mood and atmosphere. 800T, it's a green Labrador puppy. It's a cowbird in a cardinal's nest. It's there, it's an oddity, something that was no longer, is no longer, so that 800T can exist, and it fills a space in the film marketplace. Anyone looking at an 800T image knows that image was taken with 800T. 800T is a signature written large on a contract, and that contract says that if you put this film into situations that complement the aesthetic, then it will deliver unique and captivating results. CineStill 800T, at least, lives up to its end of the bargain. Thank you for watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up. That lets me know that I'm on the right track producing content which is useful and helpful to you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the comments section below. I'm pretty good about checking these every couple of days and answering questions. If you have any suggestions or ideas for future videos, and if I have the technical know-how and equipment, I'm more than happy to make those. One last thing. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I gotta get up, Steinbeck. I have to turn off the camera.